sellers? This one is for you today. If you hear the words highest and best come out of your agent's mouth, you need to be asking some questions. Whether that's while you're interviewing them in their initial consultation, or maybe it's when you've received multiple offers and you're trying to figure out what to do. Again, if you hear the words highest and best, you should be calling your agent on it because they are not doing their job. Welcome to House Money, my friends. I am Rychen Jones, your host. I am an associate broker and realtor here in the greater Salt Lake area. Glad you found us. And today we're talking about what to do with multiple offers as a seller. Now, let's think about this for a minute. You've done all the work to get your house prepared. You've done the prep work, you've repainted, you've had cleaners come in, you've had people come through your house to look through your closets and your drawers and everything else. And you finally get to this place where you have not only one offer, but multiple offers. That's fantastic. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you need to be able to leverage the offers that you have to get you, the seller, the best deal possible. So, what happens when the words highest and best come flying out of your agent's mouth? What is happening there? Let me use a football analogy. If you're on offense and you're marching down the field, a run play, a pass play, here and there, you're gaining yards, and you get to the 20-yard line and you're about to score, it's like handing the other team your playbook and saying, here, go ahead and tell us what play you want us to run. That is what's happening when your agent calls for highest and best. Let me break it down this way. What happens when an agent calls for highest and best offers? And maybe that's before you have any offers. Maybe it's in the listing. It said, we're going to review all offers Monday at 5 p.m. Send your highest and best. What does that mean exactly? What it means is you're asking the buyers to submit an offer that they think is the best offer they can possibly make. That's great. That sounds nice. But that's a lazy agent. That's an agent who doesn't know what they're doing. That's possibly an agent who doesn't know how to negotiate, isn't comfortable negotiating, or has never thought through this enough to remind themselves that their job is actually to get you the very best offer. Not the very best offer a buyer wants to offer you, the very best offer they can negotiate for you. You see, when an agent calls for highest and best offers, they are giving all of the leverage that you have gained by receiving multiple offers back to the buyers. You just give it away. It sucks, right? It does. Why would you do all the work to prepare your house and price your home correctly and have an open house and keep it clean and do all the things you do to put yourself in a position where you receive multiple offers to just then give away all the leverage that you have gained to the buyers and say, hey, you know what, buyers? Buyers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many offers you have, you tell us what you're willing to do here. You tell us what your best offer is here. In Utah, there is a form that I love. In fact, it's probably my favorite form that we have as far as our standardized forms. It's the multiple offer counter addendum form. If you're watching, I'm going to show it to you, but I'll talk through it as well. This is what I think every agent should be using when they are representing a seller and they have multiple offers. If you're watching the video, here's the form. It's technically titled Addendum Number Blank to Real Estate Purchase Contract Multiple Offers. And it states this is a counteroffer to that real estate purchase contract, the Rep C, with an offer date of blank, including all prior addendum counteroffers between buyer and seller, blah, 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 blah. And then we have point number 1, notice of multiple offers. And here we go. Buyer is advised that buyer's purchase offer, as contained in the Rep C, is 1 or 2 or more purchase offers that seller has received from separate interested buyers. Here's where you keep the leverage as a seller. Rather than accept any of the multiple offers, seller has elected to provide a counteroffer to each interested buyer. The terms below represent the counteroffer to buyer. And then we have section 2, terms of the counteroffer. This is the terms that you as the seller are counter offering a specific buyer. And what I love about this form is that if you have 3 offers and you want to counter offer 2 of them, or maybe all 3 of them, you can send different terms to each buyer because each buyer is going to get their own multiple offer counter addendum form. So you put whatever terms you think you want to counter with here in section 2. And let's go to section 3. This is the important section. So when the buyer receives this, they're going to say, okay, this seller has received multiple offers. I've been notified that there are multiple offers. I've been notified that they are giving counter offers to 1 or more of these potential offers, and I am one of them. Here are the terms of the offer. I can agree to accept it or not or counter it. But look at section 3. Section 3, not binding unless notified by seller. Buyer shall have until blank blank time on blank blank day to accept the terms of this counteroffer in accordance with the provisions of section 23 of the Rep C, blah, 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 blah. Unless so accepted, the offer set forth in this counteroffer shall lapse. That's normal with any other counteroffer. Here's the kicker, though, on this form. Here's the specific part of this form. Buyer agrees, however. Let me highlight this for you here. Buyer agrees, however, that in the event buyer accepts the terms of this counteroffer, all caps, seller shall not be obligated to sell the property to buyer, and there shall be no binding contract between buyer and seller unless buyer receives written notification from the seller by 5 p.m. on blank day, the notification deadline, that buyer's purchase offer as contained in the Rep C and modified by this counteroffer is the successful purchase contract for the property. And it goes on to say, if by the notification deadline the seller has failed to provide buyer with such written notice, this counteroffer and all other negotiations or agreements between buyer and seller shall become automatically null and void. So what does that mean? What it means is that as a seller, again, you've done all the work, you have multiple offers, life is great. You are not giving away control and leverage of this negotiation by calling for highest and best offers. What you are doing is you are keeping that leverage and that control, and you are saying to one or more of these offers you have received, I am notifying you all that multiple offers have been received. I am notifying you all that I am going to counter one or more of these offers. And I am notifying you all that even if all of you accept the counter offers I am giving to each of you, which may be different to each of you, none of you are technically under contract yet until I, the seller, choose by written notification which offer I am going to work with. That sounds a whole heck of a lot better than saying to multiple buyers, hey, just go ahead and send us your best offer and then we'll pick one of them. You've given away all your leverage. I can't believe any seller or seller's agent would do this. Here's the other thing that happens. Let's think about the psychology of a buyer for a minute. You love this house enough that you've written an offer, and you may or may not know there's multiple offers. Let's assume that you do know there are multiple offers. And so you make a really strong offer, and you get this notice back saying, hey, there's multiple offers. Maybe all of them got a counteroffer. Maybe all of them did not, but you at least know that you're in consideration for this home. And you get this counteroffer, and you look at the terms, and you think, I would be willing to agree to that. That's better than the original offer I sent, but I would be willing to agree to these terms. But then in the back of your mind, you think, wait a minute, if they're offering these terms to me, what are they offering the other potential buyers? Maybe I need to not only accept these terms of this counteroffer, but maybe I need to offer even a little bit more than these terms just to make sure that I am the offer that stands out in the end. Now, again, from a seller's perspective, you are in a fantastic position here. You have all the leverage because now not only are you countering multiple offers with what you want, but you've got buyers on the other side who are thinking, man, I'm so close. I'm so close to getting this house. Here's what they want. I know there are other offers out there. They're also getting the same form with potential counteroffer terms. I wonder if I go a little bit further, will that get me this house? Let me tell you, in my experience in Utah, every single time, 100% of the time that my sellers have used this strategy and these forms, at least one buyer has not only accepted our terms, but has gone a little bit beyond them, made it even better for my seller. That is doing your job as a listing agent to negotiate the very best offer for our sellers that we possibly can, not just giving away the control and the power and the leverage to the buyers and saying, you tell us what you want to give us. If you've only got one offer, that may be the situation you're in. But my goodness, when you've got multiple offers, leverage those things. Do your damn job, agents. Leverage those offers, negotiate the heck out of that house, and get your sellers the very best offer. If your agent is recommending to you that you request highest best offers at any point in your negotiation or when your house is on the market, you should be calling them out. You should be showing them this multiple offer counter addendum form and saying, why are we not using this form? I want to keep all the leverage. If you have questions about this form, if you want a copy of it, look in the comments. I'll put a blank copy in the comments so you can read it. You can give it to your agent. You can call me and reach out with questions about it. But keep the leverage. You've done all the work as a seller. Keep that leverage. Negotiate the heck out of your home. Get the most money out of it you can because you've put yourself in that position. where you've marketed the home correctly, you've priced it correctly, you've prepared it correctly, it looks great when it shows, and you've collected multiple offers that now you get to negotiate with. And from a buyer's perspective, chances are that at least one of them is not only going to meet your terms, but they're going to exceed them also. That's what I've got for you today on House Money. I am Rychen Jones, and we'll talk to you next time.